Have a pencil and paper handy as you watch the show, because you may not want to miss some of the information presented on today's show. Now join me in welcoming today's guests. So with me today are a very interesting gentleman by the name of Dan Insdorf, who founded a very interesting concept, and also Bridget Lang, who is an entrepreneur and starter of her own newspaper. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. Dan, let me ask you, Success Academy, that's your company. You founded the idea. What is it? What is it all about?
Well, these are very exciting times, Jim. Never in the last 100 years has there been so many opportunities for people to get into business, to become entrepreneurs. It's like the frontier days of yesteryear.
Right.
And I felt that there was a need with all this activity to support those people that want to develop themselves, whether it's the business of opening a business or the business of life. We need technical support. We need the skills and the tools necessary to become successful. We can take advantage of an opportunity, but then we have to build ourselves up to make sure that we succeed in those endeavors. And this is what Success Academy is all about.
Okay, so there's scads of business resource material out there. People, it's almost an ocean of it, inundation. But you're talking about something that's even intangible, that is an ingredient that's necessary in business to help people succeed. Because there's going to be times when all the business resource material in the world can be available, but there still has to be an attitude adjustment.
Not only that, because of the age we live in, there is such a volume of information that it's very difficult to put that information together. Take an explosive, for instance. You can take inert substances. If you mix them in the right combination, you get heat, you get explosion. The key is to mix those things in the right combination. And this is what we do with Success Academy. We focus on making certain that you have the right information. And this is what the key is to succeeding today, is having the right information.
Okay, now viewers out there may be saying, how do we get involved in Success Academy? What do we do? How does it become available to us to participate?
Well, just to give you an example, I'll go through the 3 steps that we use in Success Academy in order to make certain that whatever your business is, that you become successful.
Right.
Basically, there are 3 things that you need to be successful. The first part is the physical part. You got to be strong. You got to be healthy. To be successful, to be an entrepreneur, you have to go into the ring. And I use the analogy of a boxing ring.
Yeah, I see the gloves here. Yeah.
We see people going into the boxing ring and they're throwing punches. Well, when you're going to be in business, you're going to have to be able to take a punch and throw a punch. Also, we see fighters fight in the ring, but we don't see the training, the hard work that goes on before they go in for that short time.
Right.
So Success Academy will show you how to become strong, how to take a punch, and how to throw a punch. That's part 1 of being successful in business. Right. The second part is the spiritual part, the attitude part, the emotional part. And the best analogy I can use is farmers really understand how that system works, the success system. A farmer understands that if he plants the seeds in the right way, in the right ground, in the right soil, and cultivates that seed, his crop will blossom.
A harvest will come in.
A harvest will come in. That's what prosperity is all about. The good news is prosperity is infinite. There's enough prosperity for everyone in this country and every country. All we have to do is plant the seeds and watch those seeds grow. And Success Academy will show you how to do that and understand the principles that work. And they work 100% of the time. Gravity works 100% of the time. If you understand the natural laws, you too can reap success. And finally, in order to be successful, you have to have technical information, know-how. Now the good thing is that you used to have to go to college and get a degree, but now because of the information age, the information is available to anyone and everyone. It's not expensive. You don't have to travel. You can use it in your car. You can use it at home. We have tremendous books, tapes, programs that will ensure that you have the right technical information that you need to be successful. Not only that, the information today, unlike it was 20, 30 years ago, when it was rather boring, now you have it alive with professional speakers and motivators that will emotionalize success for you. You can be successful. Everybody can be successful. Everybody has the potential. Everybody is a seed. And if you plant yourself right and cultivate yourself, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
It
Dan,
just,
what do you think is the most common mistake that startup businesses or entrepreneurs make in getting going with their business? What do you see out there as a common mistake?
there was something I heard which made a great impression on me, and it's a business concept called form follows function, function follows form. A lot of times we go into business with a lot of enthusiasm. We are the business. We go out and we sell. We do everything ourselves. Then we reach a level where we start focusing on material things, desks, chairs, computers, and we lose sight of what a business is. A business is a dynamic product. It's the buying and selling. Remember, they said nothing happens till somebody sells something. So we have to keep in focus that we have to stay dynamic. Yes, the computers are important. Yes, it's important to have a fancy office. But more important than that, you have to keep investing in yourself. Education doesn't stop when you get out of high school or college. You have to keep investing in yourself. That's time, a little money, not expensive to buy the right books and tapes. You'll find that the successful people today, they're not listening to music in their car. They have a tape in their car. They're not watching the TV news in the morning.
Right.
They're reading publications like Happy Times, things that will bring their spirits up. You have to be up to be successful. You have to have a positive attitude, positive expectations. If you think the world is going to come to an end in 20 or 30 years, what's the use in trying? So you have to be positive. And everybody has that opportunity today. It's a level playing field. All these people with these big degrees, they're all competing with everybody else. This is the greatest time, the greatest opportunity. You look into the magazines, there are thousands of businesses that you can go into. There are businesses that you can start for $50. There are businesses that you can start with $100. There are businesses that you can start that cater to everybody's needs. It's a wonderful time.
Okay.
But people have to make that first step.
To sum up Keith's question, you say attitude really is where it either makes or breaks the future of a business.
Well, you've got to have a positive attitude and positive expectation. If you go into the ring and you think you're going to lose, by God, you will lose.
Just like your analogy with the boxing gloves, you're going to take a few punches, and the few punches can maybe be in the fight before you really get going in this thing.
Absolutely. If you look at the story of Rocky, and everybody has watched the Rocky trilogy, a quadrilogy, I mean, it just goes on forever.
Yeah.
You took a boxer who was not a professional boxer. See, that's the other thing. You got to understand that if you go into business and you want to be successful, you got to be a professional. And what's the difference between the average person and a professional? It's not your college degree. It's not your academics. It's how you view your profession.
Sure.
What did Rocky do? He went and jogged. He fought. He went into a meat locker and punched beef until his arms were sore. And then he went into the ring. Did he win? No, but he put up a good fight.
Yeah.
You got to
in
be
the
able to
movies
take
he
a
won
punch.
sometimes. I want to direct some questions because Bridget Lang is here today, and you are a person that describes in a lot of what Dan is saying. You're somebody that went into business. You've developed your own publication, a newspaper called The Happy Times, and right now the paper is distributed in a section of Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here we're living in a day and age where there's newspapers and major publications in big cities around the country folding up, going out of business, and you come along and develop a newspaper. Was that a good idea?
I think it was the best idea. First off, Jim, when I got into this business, I didn't. What I didn't do was say, "This is a business, a newspaper. Let me go see if I can make it work." That's not how it happened. How it happened is just really during the night. This idea came to me with a lot of information about how to make it work. So from there, that's what I did. It's getting good news out to the public, and letting people know that it is important in their lives to have a good attitude and a lot of things that Dan says, to think positive. So that was my passion behind doing what I'm doing. It was doing that rather than looking at the business point of view. But it is important to do that as well, and I did. The first 3 months, I looked to see if this would even work. And I looked at the hardware, the computer system, the software and everything, and I put it together. But the main drive of what got me have this happen is the passion behind it and sharing good news to people.
I got to believe in the beginning, though, you had to run into some obstacles. Maybe things you didn't count on, blindsided a little bit at times.
Yeah, it's easy to look back there now. When I first started the idea, it was filling up 28 pages of good news and looking at the computer screen and seeing that and saying, I'm going to have to fill that up. Getting articles in initially was a problem.
Okay, we're coming up on about a minute left, and I want to, before people go, Dan, people can get a copy of an audio tape that you're giving away. It's free. There's shipping and handling charges. We'll talk about that coming up next. But there's also a little booklet that'll come along with the tape, and also a business resource catalog.
Right. The thing is that it's not an accident that people are watching this program. People who are listening and watching want something more. Now, you can want a lot of things, but you have to take action. So what we've done is we've prepared an original package of information that will be your first step to seeing you through that beginning of success.
Okay, I want to give out a number. It's 1-800-775-3618 if you want more information on the tape, the book, and the resource library. I want to thank you both for being my guest today. Dan, Bridget, nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're back, and this segment of the show we're going to be talking about a subject that really should be on people's minds when you're starting a business, thinking of going into business. And today my guest is an author of a book called 127 Answers to Your Most Asked Financial Questions. He is a Wharton graduate, he is an expert in business and retirement, and he's also a business and retirement columnist for a major business magazine. With me today is Stephen Camp. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's exciting to be here.
Okay, writing this book, I mean, everybody's talking investment today. There's a lot of investment hoopla out there. But the people that might be watching this show, they're leaving a corporate environment, leaving behind a retirement program, are going to be looking some way of putting some money aside, building wealth. Is that why you wrote this book, for that reason, addressing that kind of situation?
A year ago today, I didn't know I was going to write a book. I did a lot of seminars helping people become more informed about investing at major bookstores such as Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
And the questions I most frequently got, we put into a book, and they suggested that I answer them. And that's how we created Money, 127 Answers to Your Most Asked Financial Questions. And rather than go to a large publishing company and wait 2 or 3 years, if it was accepted, to get it marketed, we decided to start our own business, to self-publish it. And within 9 months, it's now in major bookstores.
So from an idea to a finished product in 9 months, you're a product of a start your own business.
I'm a father of a book.
Yeah, you also work for a major brokerage firm. We won't mention the name here on the show, but what should people be thinking when they're starting a business? Most people, the last thing they're thinking about is retirement, or that they're thinking about survival. What would you recommend?
You know, in 1900 versus 1995, we're living 31 years longer on the average. We're living longer and longer and longer.
Sure.
And with medical advice and medical advances, people will be living in the hundreds. Or if young people are watching this, they have to provide for themselves. Do you realize you could be spending more time retired than you did working?
Working, yeah. That's amazing. It's a shocking fact. But we need to be thinking in terms of building wealth for someday, maybe just wealth of survival money to be able to have an income.
More and more people used to have retirement benefits paid by a company, pensions. Now companies are not providing this.
Yeah.
And job security is a misnomer. People in the most secure jobs, the U.S. Army, West Pointers, during the Persian Gulf, right after the Persian Gulf, these people were let go without retirement benefits. And so that was supposed to be a secure position. You could count on retirement. You have to take charge of your own retirement. You have to plan early so that you get the benefits of compounding. We have some givens. One of the givens is taxation. Another one is inflation. You have to make sure your investments are growing faster than the rate of inflation.
Right.
Steve, one of the problems right now is people have invested for their retirement.
Yes.
And they have been outplaced. They no longer have this job, and they're too young to retire. They don't have enough money because they were planning on working another 20 years at their current business and continuing to build that nest egg. And now they're forced to take that nest egg and buy a business or buy a franchise or invest it in some way. What kind of advice can you give to those people in terms of diversification, return on investment, or whatever, where now they're forced to use their proposed retirement money to continue to buy a job, for instance?
Okay. I do outplacement seminars, and this is a question people who've lost their jobs ask me, and it's very valid. One of the things, if you have a 401k, if you're in a profit-making company, or a 403b if you're in a nonprofit, and you've lost your job, you want to roll it over into a financial company, a bank or brokerage firm's IRA rollover account. You don't want to touch the money because you'll have a penalty of 10% if you're younger than 59 and a half, plus you'll pay taxes. So you want to roll it over, get it out of the old company's account, because you may be limited to 5 or 6 options for investing. This way you can decide and you can control your own destiny with a financial advisor, and you can make it grow faster. You don't want to be allocated in bonds, money market. You want it to grow faster than the rate of inflation.
Yeah.
And you have to be more aggressive with retirement money because this is long term. And then when you need the money to start your own business, you draw it out of your IRA rollover and you have a distribution. And you want to make sure that the money you've left in is growing faster to make up for the money you've drawn out.
Yeah.
You need a business plan to start your own business. Without a business plan, it's like going on a major trip without knowing where you want to go.
Never charting a course, never looking at a map. Yeah.
You also need an investment plan for investments.
Right. Now, so you're suggesting that the putting away money for a someday retirement should be factored right into a business plan.
It should be factored in.
Yeah.
Most people pay themselves last,
Yeah.
and they never wind up with money left over.
And last may not leave anything.
If you're working for a major company, nonprofit, etc., make sure you're taking advantage of a 401k or a 403b. That money you never see. It's automatically taken off your taxable income, reduced your tax load, and it's growing tax sheltered, and it's compounding. And that's the best advice I can give anyone.
What do you
Pay
suggest?
yourself first.
Let's take a company that's growing, getting
Yes.
some employees, adding some people. Still a small business, but it's growing, wants to provide some kind of benefits for their employees, some kind of a retirement program. Any suggestions there of what
Yes.
they might look into? Yeah.
If it's a profit-making company, if you're a one-man business, because a lot of people have home businesses,
Yeah.
and you don't want to spend a lot of money setting up a retirement plan and have a lot of paperwork, because that can be expensive. I recommend you open up an IRA SEP, and that requires 1 page, and you can do this in a bank or a brokerage firm or a mutual fund company, and make sure you're well diversified.
Yeah.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket,
Right.
because if the basket drops, major problems.
Sure.
Some people I've talked to work for companies like an IBM, and they invested solely in that stock, and that was their sole livelihood.
Bottom drops out of the stock.
And then the company downsized when the stock dropped. So make sure you diversify.
If people want to get more information on the book or how to get a hold of it or just more information from you, Steve, they can call 1-800-356-9315 and they'll be able to get some more information.
Right. We have 127 answers to questions that were asked, but it's not an encyclopedia of investing.
Yeah.
We also invite people to email us with questions
Right.
that are not covered.
I was going to mention that. You provide that service for them.
Yes.
Yeah, fax.
Or else call us or fax it.
Yeah.
Steve, what about cash management? If you're in a small business, a lot of people leave an excessive amount in their non-interest bearing checking account that maybe they could earn some interest on it. Could you give some advice on effective cash management?